Today I want to continue forward in a set that you just don't see too often. It's the 1970-71 ABA All-Star 5x7 picture pack. And here you're looking at the fourth card in the set, Mack Kelvin of the Florida Floridians. We have videos of the first three cards in the set, and we're just adding this one additional one today. Mack Kelvin, he was a solid point guard. In fact, he had the second most assists in ABA history. Now, there's quite a few players in this set of cards that played in the ABA and later jumped to the NBA. Mack Kelvin did this. He's one of those players. There are other players in the set that actually did the opposite. They started in the NBA, and then they jumped over to the ABA. The last video I did is card number 3, Joe Caldwell. And he's one of those players that did that. Started with the NBA, drafted by the Detroit Pistons, then jumped over to the ABA. This Mack Kelvin card, it's a really neat card for 1970-71 because that was really the high point of his career. It was this 1970-71 season where Mack Kelvin averaged a career-high 27.2 points per game with the Floridians. And he actually set an ABA record for free throws made and attempted, 696 made out of 805 attempted. It wasn't until much later, the 1976-77 season, when he jumped to the NBA. And his playing time after he got to the NBA, it was a lot more limited. He was an ABA star. The spark didn't catch in the NBA for him. Not a lot more to say about Mack Kelvin, but when we look at these cards from this set, they're also important as a chance to encounter teams and even team names that just existed for a very, very short time. Really neat to see. And this card captures one of these brief snapshots in history. In fact, this team name, Floridians, there was a change right as this 1970-71 basketball card set was produced. The team was known as the Miami Floridians. And as you see in this card, very simple, Floridians. That was a cautious change. The rest of the cards in this set have the city name. But this was the new official name, the Floridians. Dropping that Miami, well, it meant more than just trying to save some ink. Once it became the Floridians, they also became a regional team. Okay, what that meant, the regional team, is that they now played in a variety of locations. And for the Floridians, this was either an act of desperation or just a bad idea. It happened, and then due to miserable attendance numbers, the franchise was actually disbanded after 1971-72. So, 70-71, 71-72, these are the only two seasons that you get this simple Floridians. Really neat aspect of this set. We saw a regional team actually in the last card we looked at, the Joe Caldwell. He played for the Carolina Cougars. And yeah, they played in a variety of locations in North Carolina. So it wasn't completely unheard of at the time. If you haven't watched the other videos from this set, as you can see already as I've been talking, these 1970-71 ABA All-Star picture pack cards, they're not really cards. They're just these 5x7 pieces of paper. See? That's all it is. So if you run across a reference to them, and you finally find them, don't be surprised. They are just pieces of paper. And You really don't have to worry about authenticity. They don't pop up very often, but the price doesn't go too crazy. It just depends on if someone else is looking for them at the moment. If there's any competition, yeah, they might go up around $100. But if there's no one looking for them at the time, you can get them at a pretty good price. It just takes a lot of waiting trying to find them. If you are worried about authenticity, though, look at the color difference. I have this white piece of paper in the background. That's really a good way to tell. There's definitely a difference between the 1970 piece of paper and the brand new white computer paper. So that helps. There's no numbering on these cards. In fact, as you could see when I lifted up the card, there's nothing on the back. See, it's just a blank piece of paper. So when I say number 4, I'm using the last name. I'm just doing it alphabetically, that's all. That makes Rick Barry the number 1 card in the set. It's definitely the most recognizable card in the set. If you're really a basketball fan, you'll recognize other names. John Brisker's one of them. But yeah, really for your casual fan, Rick Barry's the card that you want to have, the first one. Yeah, that's about all for this one. 4th card that we're adding to this particular set. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.